Hi.
Hello
Hello
there,
there,
beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
No
Thanks.
complaints. A little
Awesome.
Little
echo in the
echo in the
back.
back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
I can minimize all that noise when I edit it. But thank you so much for joining me on this episode of my podcast, Grateful Wounds. Woo woo.
Yeah.
Yay.
um, awesome. Well, um, the Grateful Wounds podcast is a storytelling platform where real conversations about pain, healing, faith, motherhood, fatherhood, transformation, all of that take place here on this podcast. I believe through personal stories, expert insights, powerful conversations happen. And Tanasha Allwood, as the host of this podcast, I really believe that there's value in exploring life's deepest wounds because those deep wounds, they are what lead us to our purpose. They help us grow and they empower us and inspire others as well. So today's episode, I am truly honored to have my beloved brother here. Woo woo! Stanley
Yes.
Allwood. We are going to be talking about everything fatherhood. Today's conversation is about the presence of fathers, the absence of fathers, the emotional impact that it can leave on children's long into their adulthood. Um, as many of you know, I have raised my son as a single mom. His father wasn't really consistently present in his life. And that comes with challenges, as I shared in a couple of other previous episodes of the Grateful Wounds podcast. So if you haven't listened to those, if you're not familiar with my story and you're just tuning in today, I encourage you to go and listen to those other episodes where I talk about some of the challenges I've had as a single mom. Um, Also, for me personally, with relationships with fatherhood itself is kind of complicated. Again, as I stated, my brother is here today to talk about this subject matter. However, our views on fatherhood may be slightly different, but it's still very well connected. And what I mean by that is our parents got divorced when I was just 16 years old. My brother wasn't even born yet. So I'm familiar with growing up with my dad in the home up until I was 16. However, he has a very different experience that he'll talk about. But on top of that, at the age of 17, my mother put me on a plane blindly and sent me off to Detroit, Michigan to meet a man that I didn't even know. And turns out that was my biological father. So, talk about questions surrounding love, identity, abandonment, understanding, like all of that has been with me since that time. And I've only met him once, and then he passed away in 2014. So talk about the amount of healing and things I've had to do as a human being, and the subject matter of fatherhood. Like it's a lot again. So we're not playing the blame game here today. We're not playing the shame or anything like that. We both recognize that life is complicated, people are human, and we are simply here exploring the impact of fatherhood or lack thereof, and how kids nowadays can mentally, spiritually, and socially correlate having a dad in the home or not having a dad in the home. So, my brother is the father of two beloved boys, my nephews. And
Hmm.
so tell the people, introduce yourself, tell them a little bit about what you do, your new barbershop you got open. I'm so proud of you.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
I'm
I'm
proud to
proud to
be
be
here.
here.
I'm
I'm
grateful for
grateful
this
for this
podcast, and
podcast,
my
and my
sister
sister
is
is
blowing
blowing
out the
out the
market
market
right
right
now,
now.
expressing
Expressing
herself,
herself,
telling her
telling her
story.
story.
Everybody has
Everybody
a
has a
story.
story.
Yes.
As
As
far as
far
me,
as
my
me, my
name is
name is
Stanley
Stanley
Allwood
Allwood
Jr.
Jr.
I am
To
Tanasha's
Nasha's
baby
baby
brother.
brother.
Yes.
I am married to
To
a
a
beautiful
beautiful
woman.
woman.
Her name is
Her name is
Angel
Angel
Allwood, of
Allwood.
course. And we
Woo.
have three children.
Yes.
Uh, I got my oldest daughter, Promise, that just
Just
turned
turned
15.
15.
Yes.
Uh, my middle child, uh, my heart is his name is Princeton Allwood.
Yes.
He is 13, and my baby boy, his name is Kingston, and he's 12.
Wow. Yes,
And we are
you're,
out of Detroit.
yes, I love it. I love it. And you're a barber and got some
So
great
yeah,
looks going on.
I cut hair,
Yes.
work out of a shop. Shop's been around for over 40 years, so it's a blessing to be in that location. I do work a 9 to 5, a traditional. What I do is I work in logistics,
Mm-hmm.
transportation logistics for older, over 65 or even younger, making sure they get to the doctors and appointments and things like that.
I love it. I love it. I was at the Heart of Gold Awards recently with Kim Whitley, and that organization, it works with senior citizens, and it reminded me of you when I was there. And then last weekend I was at the Special Needs Network with Vivica Fox and Kim Whitley.
I
And
seen it.
I talked about, my nephew, my middle nephew Princeton, and how, some of the learning disabilities that he has,
Mhm.
and it just reminded me of you. It's like, wow, all these things are just so connected. So you're doing such great work. I just want to say I'm proud of you, and again, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being here
Thank you.
today. This
Thank you for having
episode,
me.
you're welcome. This episode is for sons, okay? Sons that are out there still searching for guidance. It's also for daughters who are still out there seeking validation. It's for
Hmm.
moms who are out there doing it alone. And it is for fathers like yourself who are just trying their best to show up and do things differently from what they experienced in life. So, my first question for you, Stanley, is do you believe a child can truly heal from growing up without a father, or does that absence stay with you forever? What's your thoughts on that?
So that's a good question. I believe that most of us are all different. So it does heal.
Uh-huh.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
but it does heal, right? Over time, it heals. Some heal faster than others. And some people just bury it. You know,
Yeah.
I would say 80%, a lot of us just bury it
Mm-hmm.
and move on and make sure you be there for yours, right?
Right. Right. What was what was your experience like growing up, as you think about fatherhood?
Um, for myself, it was like, my father was a mystery man, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always heard great things about him. He's top of the line for our side of that family.
Mm-hmm.
He's well respected and known. So it was like I always wanted, meet him and be around him and talk to him. So when that time came around, maybe once or twice out the year as a kid, it was exciting. It
Mm-hmm.
was great. It was everything. But as I got older,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, my mystery man is my mom. My mom is here constantly and every time, whether it's the good or the bad. So there was still a respect level for my father. Once we got older, we built a relationship.
Yeah.
But at that time, just kind of like let that go. And like that's where the bury comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of bury it.
So you talk a little bit about, like, as you got older, you were able to build a relationship, but what
Hmm.
do you feel, what was it like for you as a child? Did you have any regrets, resentment? Did you miss him? Did you, want to
Yeah.
know more?
Right. So you can't miss something that you never had, right?
Yeah.
But it hurts in a way of like, why is my dad not around?
Yeah.
I didn't get taught how to kick or pitch a ball or what. how to ride a bike or, help me with my homework, take me to school, come to my basketball games.
Yeah.
But, seeing other kids and friends with their fathers and all that, I just feel like, you just kind of like get over it.
Yeah.
You get over it, you kind of bury it. I did have a lot of resentment, like graduating out of high school, like you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got older and had my kids,
Yes.
especially my son,
Yes.
when my son came along, it felt like it was never my business of why you and my mother didn't work out
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason it was. But, I'm gonna try to be a better father than you were because I want to be there for my kids.
Yes.
And unconditionally, rather whatever the circumstance would be, I want to be there for my kid.
Yeah. And you are raising two kings, as you said earlier, correct?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
prince and a king.
A prince and a king, right?
That's right.
um, as a dad, how do you teach your boys to become emotionally healthy men?
So my boys are becoming preteens,
Mm-hmm.
so they know that they can come to me. I'm always there, emotionally available to them, right?
Right.
I think that's very important to be there for your boys emotionally.
Yeah.
People put up this little boundary of saying, hey, don't cry, you're being too soft. No, you can be able to come to your parents, your mother and your father, about whatever you're going through as young men.
Right.
That's where anger issues come in and violence or, lashing out in school, things like that. My kids get good grades.
Yes.
Um, they do well. I let my kids be who they are, but I know what they're doing, and that's what Lena May told us.
You're right,
Yeah,
right?
I still stand 10 toes down on that.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
I love that. So you talk about like violence and things of that sort. I want to ask, in your opinion, do you believe that there's a connection to fatherless homes and then the choices that boys make later in life? Everything from, getting in trouble, perhaps the violence, their own self-worth, how it affects them when they have their own relationships. What's your
Yeah,
opinion?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is the reason why we have these problems.
Mm-hmm.
Even thinking about myself, uh, I got into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my mom couldn't do things that a man could do or teach me, right?
Right. Right.
Um, all our single mothers do the best they can when it comes to a boy,
Yeah.
but they can't raise a boy into a man.
Yeah.
It's a hope and a prayer. All these boys got to work their own journey, but the world is ugly and it's waiting for them.
Yes.
The nonsense is waiting for them. And you
Yes.
get tangled into that when you're with a whole bunch of groups of boys without fathers.
Yeah.
So the streets is teaching them. They go into the streets and the gangs and friends for validation and brothers and fathers to them. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But, as you get older and you understand that, hey, this ain't the right way. I
Right.
learned my lesson by going to jail, parole, probation, whatever it may be, even down to a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our young males express themselves by violence.
Yeah.
Whether you hitting your woman or grabbing her because nobody taught you how to channel that anger.
The anger.
And
Yeah.
a conversation goes a long way,
Yeah.
but we're not being taught that. And before you know it, half of us is in jail, or half of us, they're dead.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it's important to have a father in a household, especially in our community.
Yeah. I totally 100% agree with you. I mean, um, I shared in a couple of episodes before, we have this same, we have our dad, right? Our dad as we know it, right? The dad that raised me up until I was 16 before my parents divorced. But then being put on a plane at the age of 17 to be told you're going to go meet a man who's your biological father is just like, what? And he had been, in and out of prison, pretty much his entire life. And it was like, if you don't go meet him now, you're never going to know who he is. And
Right.
so that weighs on you. I I'm grateful that my dad, that raised me was there, but at the age of 16, I just recently told my, mama about something that happened to me when I was young, and it's just like I wish I had both parents keeping a closer eye on me as I was
Right.
growing up. Um, So I do believe that it affects relationships. I'm talking about me personally. Like I do believe it affects relationships personally. Just the choices that you make in life. And then turning to like my own son and being a single mom, raising him and seeing how, his dad wasn't there for him or wasn't consistently there for him. And then after he went off to prison, which I do share in the first episode of my podcast, my story, um, I believe the absence of his father really heavily contributed to some of the choices that he made in life because of that
Absolutely.
anger and that just all the things. I mean, I don't know my son's story deep like that because we don't really like talk about it and we don't talk about like the intricate details of what he did, but at some point he will talk about it. But from being the mom watching, I do believe that him growing up without his dad in the home consistently, like it led him down a path that was, led to self-destruction.
Yeah.
And I mean, you being his uncle, would you agree, disagree?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
100%. His father not being there for him like he should have,
Mm-hmm.
and he was capable of.
Yeah.
You know, when you have other children and this other child isn't getting the love and support shown to him like it should have been, that hurts.
Yeah.
And he starts to resent the whole world at one point.
Yeah.
Mama only can do so much. We
Right.
all know that.
Right.
But he
Right.
needed his father when it was important, you know, not
Yeah.
on his time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's the beauty of life is that, you know, you live long enough, you're going to continue to grow and just learn and just go through some things and then become, like I want to say, grateful for all of it, the good, bad, ugly, indifference. You're going to become grateful for all of it. So,
Hmm.
you kind of already answered this question already, but my question was, do moms have to unlearn this whole survival mode? So think of like our mom, she had three kids as a single
Yeah.
mom. She was in survival mode, right? And me and I have another episode with our sister, and we talking about motherhood, and we talk about being a single mom. Like, do you believe, from your perspective, that we have to unlearn this survival mode in order to properly raise our children? Or do you believe that, like, us single women, there's no way you can raise a son to be a man?
So, I mean, it's a great question.
Yeah.
But the ultimate answer is y'all been doing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, y'all been raising multiple young men and they turn out great, and some turn out, you know, the inevitable, be incarcerated or whatever choice they decide to go down. There's
Yeah.
some really good mothers that try, and it always doesn't turn out right, but they really try.
Yeah.
They're trying to survive as well, and they're trying to raise these kids the best they can.
Right.
Um, and there's nothing I would change the way my mom did with
Right.
us. My mother
Yeah.
tried, and she aced it. You know, both
Yeah.
my sisters are college graduates. All three of her kids graduated from high school. They're all working. They're healthy. They
Yeah.
take care of their kids. So it does work.
Yeah.
Is that the way it's supposed to be? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So it
You
can be
know,
done.
parenting doesn't come with any rule books, and I'm grateful for, both of my parents. It's like
Yeah.
they tried, they did the best they could. We are adults now, and we
Mhm.
tried, we're doing the best we can, but at the end of the day, like, raising kids doesn't come with the rule book, so you just become grateful. um what do you think hurts more? You talk about hurt. What do you think hurts more? Do you think that not having your dad in your life, or having a dad physically present but not emotionally available? What do you think hurts more?
Father not being there emotionally available.
Yeah.
I learned that,
Yeah.
a lot of my problems stem from, you know, I don't have a man to talk to,
Yeah.
so I talk to myself.
Yeah.
It's all right as long as you don't answer your questions out loud.
Think about
But
that
no.
again.
So think about that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to talk to yourself as long as you don't answer your questions out loud.
Yeah.
But I wish my father was there emotionally, when I needed him. But
Yeah.
my father went through the same thing he put me through.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know his father. Uh, he was mad at the world,
Yeah.
and all he knew was he was just going to join the service so he never had to live a messed up life. He knew the service would take care of him.
Yeah.
And that's his story.
Yeah.
He has to live with, hey, I wasn't there for my son or my kids or whatnot.
Right.
Uh, so that's on him. But we have a great relationship now. He has a
Yes.
great relationship with his grandkids. I'm truly thankful.
Yes.
Uh, and so I can't do nothing but build on what we got now.
Right. Right. And that's the thing too, like, with me, having met my dad just one time. It's like earlier in life, I think my son was around 9 or 10 or so. I said to myself, you know what? I want to start having a relationship with you before it's too late. And I was planning a visit to go and take my son to introduce him to his grandfather. And then he passed away. And it's like I never got to build that relationship with him, or, my son never got to meet him. But there's beauty in just honoring where you are now versus being, you know, bitter about or unhealed about the things that happened in the past. And you and I are both fortunate because both, mom and dad are still around. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
there's beauty in your struggle, beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, uh, to turn the tables and ask you a question.
Hmm.
Let me interview you for a second.
Okay.
Um, how did it make you feel when mom put you on a plane at 16 to meet a man that you never knew about?
I was angry. I had a lot of anger inside of me.
Mm,
And this is something I didn't share on my podcast, but I believe I put it in my book because I'm writing a book called Grateful Wounds, where I talk about all this stuff.
yeah.
But I have an aunt, that's, one of my mom's closest sisters. She's still alive there in Detroit. And she had told me, she was calling me my nickname. My nickname is Goldie.
Goldie.
She was calling me that, and I'm like, why do you keep calling me that? Who's Goldie? And she's like, that's your dad. And I'm like, my dad's name is Stanley. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, that's not your dad. And I was just like, what? So my aunt was the first one that told me. And when she said to me, you need to ask your mom. She needs to tell you the story. She needs to tell you the truth. Again, I'm like 15 at this time. And going through this. And I remember calling mom, asking her, and she completely denied it. Denied, denied, denied. Okay. 2 years later, I'm being put on a plane to go meet someone that she denied was, that I didn't have a different dad. I was just like, so in that moment, I was scared. I was angry. I was
Yeah.
resentful. I was nervous. When I got to Detroit and met him and his girlfriend, like I didn't talk. I didn't want to eat. I just didn't want to be there.
Right.
It was hard. But fast forward, got through that weekend. Um, Maybe 2 weeks later, he committed another crime and he went back to prison, and I never saw him again.
Tough. I heard your daddy was a bank robber. He was really in them streets.
Yeah, he robbed a. I mean, I don't know. I never talk about people's crimes and stuff, but
Yeah.
my
Well,
sister.
I know that was tough for you. It was tough for me even finding out that me and my sister didn't have the same pa,
Yeah,
and you broke it down to me. So,
yeah. Um, But hey, so sometimes going through, I'm glad you asked the question. I'm grateful for, because I think about the journey that I've had with my son, and sometimes, I went to my dad's funeral and I still have his ashes. They're here on my entertainment center, and sometimes I'll look up or I'll just like talk to his picture and just wonder, what that world was like, or is there some correlation? I don't know. I can't figure it out, but yeah, with him being in and out and then my son being in and out, I wish I could pick his brain. Like I wish he was still here to just school me. He would just school me, I would imagine, but
well, how did he make you feel with the conversations that you did have?
um good. I loved learning, like when he was in and I did try to talk to him, back in the day he would call collect, and he would always answer the phone. When I'd say, "Hey, how are you doing?" He'd say, "Oh, baby girl, I'm too blessed to be stressed." That is what he would tell me. Baby girl, I'm too blessed to be stressed. And
Right.
he was just like a no nonsense, just, gift to gab. And yeah, he made me feel good. But at the same time, it was just like, I wish I could get to know you beyond the collect calls and letters, because we did write. I have letters from him. But yeah, that was it. So,
Okay.
um, whew, yeah,
Yeah.
didn't expect that, but yeah. So again, this episode, it's gonna probably be posted around under around Father's Day. So again, as a father yourself of two men, any last like words that you want to tell listeners about embracing fatherhood?
Sure. So, children are a blessing, first and foremost.
Hmm.
Uh, I always feel like, I'm going to be blessed when it comes to marriage and children because I felt like I did it the right way, right?
Yeah.
Um, my kids are everything.
Yeah.
I do everything based around my wife and my kids. Uh, these two boys that I have, are gonna know how to navigate the world
Yeah.
when it's time.
Yeah.
And that was my ultimate goal.
I love
And if
that.
I can do that, I'm satisfied.
I love
Those
that.
three I got, if they can navigate through the world, then I did my job,
I love
you
that.
know. And so that's being there for them 100% of the time, you know. And so, you know, embrace your kids, embrace fatherhood by being there for them. A dad is a whole different thing
Yeah.
than a father. You know what I mean? A father, becoming a father just, you know, it made me a man. That's
Yeah.
how I became a man.
Yeah.
You change everything, you look at life differently, and it's no longer your life anymore. It's all about them.
Yeah.
You know me, I don't respect nobody who don't take care of their kids.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love that. Thank you. And for anyone listening to, like, I I have no regrets. I'm grateful for everything, including, my son's father. And my son is a father himself now. I haven't talked about
yes, he
this on the
is.
podcast, but I did do a special dedication to my granddaughter on one episode. But my son is a father now. So I see beauty in all of this. Like I find beauty in watching him hold his daughter, watching him just interact and really starting to see him just become the young man that I know he is and can be. So fatherhood is a beautiful thing. And like we said earlier, there's no rule books when it comes to being a parent, but just be grateful for your story because we all have one in your journey. So
Absolutely.
thank
Beautiful.
you. This again is Tanasha Allwood, your host of the Grateful Wounds podcast. Today's guest was my beloved brother, Stanley Allwood. I'm going to be seeing you soon in July. I can't wait to turn up with you for your 40th birthday. Are you
Oh,
excited?
oh, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to the Grateful Wounds podcast.
Peace.